Honourable Annette King.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question's to the Minister of Social Development and Employment. Does she stand by her statement, quote, "We absolutely believe that work is the best way out of poverty for people, and we're going to back them and support them into those jobs every time"?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, yes, and I also stand by the rest of the quote. It's going to be done with fairness, it's going to be done with a level of support I think beneficiaries haven't seen before, but there are going to be mutual obligations and expectations as well.
The Honourable Annette King.
Mr Speaker, what confidence can parents have in her when she promised before the election that National and Government would retain all existing subsidies and fees controls and deliver cheaper child care to parents, but within months of becoming Minister breaks that promise and is taking away child care assistance aimed at helping families get ahead?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, it's quite good that months later the Labor Party have finally sort of read the papers that identify the changes we are making to...
Order.
You silly woman.
Now, that is not an appropriate way to start answering a question. The Minister was asked a question about the government's position and shouldn't start answering it by talking about the opposition. But it's quite good that the Labor Party might have done something. That's not the way to start answering a question. The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, currently families on nearly $100,000 can get childcare assistance via work and income. We are actually raising the abatement thresholds, as a member may know if she'd read the papers, which say that actually beneficiaries can go from $80 to $100 a week. They can make, those families are going to be about 28,000 parents will be better off. We are taking those abatement thresholds back to the 2008 level, and it's actually something that I support.
Mr Speaker, when she said at the weekend she makes informed decisions, who informed her that a family with 3 children, both parents working and both earning around the average wage of $49,000 are high-income earners and therefore should have their childcare assistance cut? And is that the new definition of a high-income earner under a national government?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, to deal with actual numbers, those people are on 99,320,000 people, those households we're on, to actually be getting childcare assistance. We're actually taking that level to $93,600 for those $93,600. And as I previously said, actually more than 28,000 people are going to gain by the abatement thresholds that this government is bringing in.
Katrina Shanks.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister, can the Minister comment on policies which tried to address long-term dependency?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, the last 10 years have been marked by feeble, half-hearted attempts to actually tackle welfare dependency. In fact, the Auditor-General's report said that the changes Labor made did not go far enough to have a real impact. We certainly saw that in both sickness and invalids beneficiaries that went up by 50% in that 9-year period.
Sumaroni.
Supplementary to the Minister, did the Minister receive official advice that her proposal to retarget childcare assistance income thresholds would reduce the income of childcare providers and reduce children's participation in early childhood education?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I received a high level of advice on this one actually because we looked at it really closely, and to be clear, it's actually been grandparented for 3 years and approximately 2,137 people will not be eligible for that assistance, but others will be, and we believe actually that that is fair and reasonable, but it is supporting more than 28,000 people that will be getting an abatement threshold.
Point of order, Sumaroni.
Mr Speaker, I'd seek your assistance because I asked a very specific question of the Minister and she failed to address it at any level. The question was about did she receive official advice on 2 issues. One was that the income of childcare providers would reduce, and the second one was that children's participation in early childhood education would reduce. She failed to address either of those questions.
Well, I think if the member wants me to assist with obtaining an answer, she's got to choose which question she's going to ask. I mean, I listened to the member's question and I listened to the Minister's answer, and it seemed to me the Minister did try to answer the question. And you know, if the member's admitted she actually asked two questions as supplementary, not meant to do that, and I can assist more if only one clear question's asked. Supplementary question, is it Sumaroni?
Does the Minister accept that her proposal reduces the funding for childcare by $57 million over 4 years and will affect more than 11,000 families, thereby increasing the cost of those families by more than $5,000 on average?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, yes, I do take into account that is saving $57 million over the 4 years. That is because we have actually decided that we're going to put that into abatement thresholds that go for those that need it most, that can actually get out there and earn a bit of money in their own pockets, gain an actual work ethic, gain a job and get further ahead, and I am going to back them every time.
Sumaroni.
Point of order,
Point
Mr.
of order.
Speaker. I seek leave of the House to table a document. It's a Cabinet Social Policy Committee document on the Future Focus Program outlining the official advice the Minister received that children's participation in ECE, early childhood education, would reduce, and so would the incomes of childcare providers.
That document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. Point of order, the Honourable Paula Bennett.
Leave to actually table the document which the Labor Party have said was hidden, but actually at the top of it states quite clearly that there were changes to the childcare assistance.
What is this document?
It is an official document on the future focus and benefit changes.
Leave us sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. Oh, is there objection? No, there is no objection. Rahui Katne, supplementary question. Order. I've called. Order. Order. I ask members to show some courtesy, please, to Rahui Katne.
Thank you. Supplementary to the Minister.
Order. I apologise, member, but the Honourable Annette King and the Honourable Paula Bennett will cease this exchange and show some courtesy to Rahui Katne. Rahui Katne.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister. Has she seen the recommendation from the Child Poverty Action Group that the government could use the opportunity of the tax reforms to improve incomes for beneficiaries with children by immediately extending the in-work tax credit to all low-income children? And will she stand up for these children and support them out of poverty by advocating for this to happen with the Minister of Finance?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Oh, shivers. I didn't. I'm so sorry, Mr Speaker. I was a little distracted by the front bench member on the other side, and I do apologise.
Order, 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 order. Now, what's been demonstrated here is what I was concerned about. The exchange across the House between the Honourable Annette King and the Honourable Paula Bennett was distracting the House. And it was unfair to Rahui Katne, who was not being shown courtesy, and the Minister did not listen to her question. I invite Rahui Katne to repeat her question. Rahui Katne.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister, has she seen the recommendation from the Child Poverty Action Group that the government could use the opportunity of the tax reforms to improve incomes for beneficiaries with children by immediately extending the in-work tax credit to all low-income children? And will she stand up for these children and support them out of poverty by advocating for this to happen with the Minister of Finance?
Mr Speaker, and my apologies to the member for previous. Yes, I have seen the report, and I suppose this is where we stand quite differently. I certainly stand by families that are getting into work, that are earning more money and are able to actually have those children in those sorts of households, and not where we just increase those benefits by more and see them as more benefit actually dependent.
Question number 5, Matirio Ture.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.